Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras.
And I'm Natasha Kirchuk. Coming up in today's newscast, the IDF retaliates against Hamas over the latest round of rockets.
A groundbreaking Israeli-made medical test gets FDA approval.
And two Jewish actresses show us what it means to be a hero. Thousands of Israeli civilians remain under fire in southern Israel as rockets continue to be launched from Gaza.
And the Iron Dome has reportedly intercepted 3 rockets fired from the Strip Saturday evening, thankfully preventing immediate damages.
Some injuries have been cited due to the panic caused by the sirens, including a 10-year-old girl, a 47-year-old woman, and a 27-year-old man who were injured while running to shelters. And 2 more people have been treated for shock.
Also, videos posted to social media show large crowds of civilians running and frantically looking for shelter. At a nearby gymnasium in Sderot, for one, a large youth group gathering can be seen rushing to take cover as the explosions are heard overhead.
Well, no group has claimed responsibility for the rockets, but as per policy, the IDF reports sending at least 3 rounds of fighter jets and attack helicopters to retaliate against Hamas terror targets in the Strip, including warehouses, offices, watch posts, and a naval installation.
Hamas, on the other hand, is calling Israel's retaliation a dangerous escalation. The rockets were not the only weekend violence, however. The Saturday sirens come just after thousands of Gaza Palestinians returned to the border fence for their weekly riots that have continued even after Hamas stopped organizing them. And they're marked by Palestinians setting off explosions, throwing stones, burning tires, attempting to infiltrate the border with weapons, and more.
And now let's take a look at Israel's political arena as the December 11 deadline to choose a potential government leader draws closer and closer.
It looks more and more like third elections are around the corner now, as the deadline to choose a prime minister-elect is just 3 days away, and major party leaders are walking away from the negotiating table. Netanyahu, for one, is now apparently pushing for a direct election for prime minister, rather than the third election that we will likely receive. And under this plan, the nation would vote for either Netanyahu or Gantz, and the winner would form the next coalition. The idea is getting heavy criticism, though, as it's been used in the past and is considered to have been a failed policy. Also, to change the election law with an interim government during campaign season would require unprecedented cooperation, which is highly unlikely to come about. In fact, the Likud party seems to be having trouble cooperating even within itself, as the party now heads towards primaries for party leadership. And multiple Likud MKs have already pledged their support for Gideon Sa'ar, explaining that it's not to get rid of Netanyahu, but rather to protect the right-wing rule. Finally, though, not everyone has given up on the December 11th deadline just yet, as Labour Gesher MK Omer Bar-Lev is reportedly fighting to get support for Yuli Edelstein, the Knesset Speaker and Likud Party number 2. Bar-Lev explains that Edelstein has been fiercely working to prevent third elections and mediate between the parties, making him an excellent candidate for Prime Minister. And if Bar-Lev can actually get the 61 signatures needed, all Edelstein will need to do is then submit to President Rivlin that he's willing to accept the mandate.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel is now heading to Poland for a momentous visit to the Auschwitz-Birkenau Nazi death camp. But critics accuse the Polish government of using Merkel's visit as a way to further distance Poland from Nazi war crimes.
Or to put it more simply, Poland largely rejects allegations of complicity in the Holocaust, and Merkel's arrival from Germany helps to shift that blame. And here now to discuss the situation is Ambassador Tzvi Ravner, former Israeli ambassador to Poland and Deputy Director General for Eastern Europe at the Israel Foreign Ministry. So our first question for you is, can you explain how the Polish people see their role in the Holocaust? Because it seems to be quite different from the way that the Jewish people view it.
Indeed, to an extent. It's true, the Poles are trying, and especially in the last couple of years, are trying very hard to present themselves almost as equally as the victims of the Holocaust, of the Second World War, as almost as much as the Jews. And there's a friction here and a discussion between us and them, indeed, on those matters. I don't know to what extent they have been using the visit of Angela Merkel there in Auschwitz, but definitely I've noticed that she was saying very clearly, and I'm sure that they were quite glad with that she insisted that those are not Polish death camps, those are Nazi German death camps. Mm-hmm. This is something that they very much were looking to.
So in your professional opinion, how revisionist maybe is Poland's view of their role in World War II?
Look, the Poles, there are issues that they are right about. Poland, it is true, Poland was the first victim of the Second World War on the 1st of September 1939. They were the first nation to be attacked by the Germans, no doubt about it. And millions of Poles died throughout the Second World War. But there's, of course, nothing to do with the victimhood of the Jews. Wherever Poland was not the one who was really not responsible for the death camps. Those were Nazi death camps. But what we are maintaining is that, unfortunately, not as an organized state, but as an occupied state, with several Poles who have been saving Jews, righteous among the nations, the biggest number of righteous. However, so many, unfortunately, so many of the Polish people individually have been collaborating with the Nazis, and that's the problem. That's the difference of views between them and us.
All right, so now just speaking more specifically about Merkel, and I was shocked when I found out that this was the first time that she was going to be visiting Auschwitz. Why do you think that visit is taking place right now? Is that in the face of the rising anti-Semitism that we're seeing take place in Europe?
Well, she visited both Buchenwald and Dachau in Germany itself, and two of her predecessors, Schmidt in as early as 79, I think, and Chancellor Kohl in 89 and 95 visited Auschwitz. I don't know why it took 14 years for her to come and visit Auschwitz, indeed. But it's good. And what she said, what she has been saying there, these were good words indeed. Right. She did refer to the, of course, to the Jews. One cannot but refer to the very fact that out of 1.1 million people who were killed there, slaughtered there, gassed there, 1 million, more than 1 million were Jews. It's true that there were Poles and there were Roma, there were Soviet prisoners, but Jews. This is the biggest Jewish graveyard on earth.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us and speaking to us about this matter. Moving on, we know Israelis love the Game of Thrones, the TV series, but now Israeli special forces have even named a huge international training drill after the popular series.
Yeah, and the commandos in question have now just taken part in the massive army drill in Cyprus this week. And ILTV's Nittany Manson has the scoop.
For the fourth time in 3 years, Israeli units from the IDF's Commando Brigade and several Air Force squadrons have made their way to the island nation of Cyprus to take part in a massive international military drill. And this year, the drill, nicknamed Game of Thrones, is focusing on fighting in a new and unknown terrain that simulates combat in the northern arena, i.e. Syria and Lebanon. To that end, the cooperating forces are simulating rapid one-night raids, combat in dense, complex, and mountainous terrain, slow refueling of helicopters, providing equipment by air, evacuating casualties, flying in ground troops, and much, much more. But again, this is just one facet of a massive military operation, and that's why there have been so many drills in so little time. The IDF's first Special Forces drill in Cyprus in recent years was held back in June 2017, and that involved roughly 500 Israeli commandos and soldiers from other select units. Then in December 2017, Israeli K-9 units and artillery corps gathered in another drill, followed by yet another one in October 2018. This one designed to test urban combat and preparedness for similar scenarios.
Well, Bolivia has just reached out to Israel to ask for its expertise in fighting terrorism. And here to explain what it is that they want and why it's controversial is ILTV's Shanna Fold. So, Shanna, what is Bolivia asking for?
So Bolivia is asking for the help of Israel in removing what the Interior Minister is calling narco-terrorists that have been in Bolivia for the last 14 years. Now, if you look into it, the president who was recently no longer president, and we'll get into that in a little bit, Evo Morales, he has been in power for 14 years. And before we get into a little bit more of the politics, I just want to show a soundbite from the Interior Minister on what he's asking for.
Es un grupo muy bien preparado, ha sido con asesoría de varios países, los vamos a seguir preparando, vamos a pedir que venga, estamos reanudando relaciones con Israel, con Estados Unidos. Israel tiene grandes capacidades. Nosotros los hemos invitado a que nos ayuden. Están acostumbrados a tratar con terroristas.
Interesting.
High praise, yeah.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about what's going on here, because clearly Morales, who has been in power for quite some time, has now been exiled from the country. Who is taking over? What does that mean for relations with Israel?
Okay, now Israel and Bolivia did not have diplomatic ties for the last 10 years. Evo Morales put that to an end. He forced Israelis to get visas, which they didn't need before in order to visit the country. And there's strong tourism from Israel to Bolivia, so that is an element.
I heard it was like 30% of their tourism or something.
Yeah, in a specific part in the north where there are many borders. Now, on the left, you have people who are saying that his removal from office, it was a strong suggestion. People on the left will tell you that this was a coup. And people on the right will tell you that he overstayed his welcome in office and that he tried to get reelected into an extra term that he really shouldn't have been allowed to get. Now that he's not in office anymore, the new interim government, which is being led by Janine Áñez, is trying to bring in stronger ties with Israel and with the U.S. Now, that's to set the stage.
Right.
Now, I spoke with Emmanuel Navon. He's a PhD, and he's with a Jerusalem security. He's an analyst, he's a professional, and he's an expert. He's told me something that was actually surprising to me, which was that when the government says that they're trying to remove terrorism, they're talking about an influence of pro-Iranian forces that are spread out all throughout Latin America, especially in Bolivia, and that there's Hezbollah, and that he actually believes that the Israeli government is going to share intelligence with Bolivia, and that the goal is not so much to the people that were against Morales, or in support, but that it's actually real terrorism, real people from Hezbollah that are infiltrating in Latin America.
180.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see what takes place, because obviously this interim government, I think there's only 90 days left until the next elections, and so we don't actually know who is going to be leading the country moving forward. So we'll see if Israel's interested in...
a lot to pack in.
You'll be back, I hope, with more news.
Yeah. All right.
All right, now you know what time it is. It's time to learn about some more new and amazing places to visit here in the Holy Land.
Now, this is a side of Israel that most people haven't seen before, and it's brought to you by Visit to Israel, one of the world's leading Instagram pages about how to travel in Israel. So without any further ado, here is Ela of Ela Travels the World. So tell us, you have 2 secret destinations for us today. What are those destinations?
So first we'll be heading down south to the city of Eilat, to the Dolphin Reef of the Red Sea. Yes, the Dolphin Reef.
This is one of my favorite places.
I was just there.
Really?
But not at the Dolphin Reef. I was just in Eilat visiting, but I'll let you talk more about the reef first, because that's way more interesting.
So the Dolphin Reef is a natural reef, ecological site, and home to the bottlenose dolphins, where you can swim and dive with the dolphins. And it's also not a place where they do shows. It's their natural habitat.
Wow.
Yeah, so
they just kind of swim up and freely hang out. And
exactly, and they're also, this species are known to be very friendly and curious about human beings. Wow. So it's really a great place to visit and swim with dolphins.
So they're not encaged, right?
No, it's a natural site. It's completely natural site.
I just want to clarify that. So they just come and go as they please.
Yes, no dolphin shows. They're not trained. It's their natural habitat, but you can really get close to them if they're willing to, but they're usually very friendly.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure that, they get a lot of fish from the site and stuff, so they're very happy to come and visit.
Eilat is also known for an underwater world, which is beautiful and very unique. The Red Sea in general, so it's also an opportunity to take a glimpse at this underwater world.
Snorkeling, all that stuff,
exactly.
And also the area around it is beautiful, so you guys should come visit. All right, let's move on to the next
one.
place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so our next one, now we'll be heading up north to the old city of Acre, or as we call it in Hebrew and Arabic, Akko.
Akko.
Yes.
Okay.
So this old city is one of the oldest seaports in the world.
Yes.
Yes, dated back to maybe the Bronze Age. And it's also one of the most oldest settlements known
in history.
in history, which makes it naturally a site for archaeological excavations.
Yeah.
So walking in this old city is like walking around in literal history.
Well, it was recognized by UNESCO, right?
Yes, in 2008 it was recognized by UNESCO as a heritage site. Yeah.
And a lot of Israelis say that Akko has some of the best hummus in all of Israel, right?
Well, we've heard,
most definitely, yes.
So another good reason to visit.
Another
all right.
absolutely great reason to visit. Eilat, thank you so much for being with us.
Yes, now I just want to go on vacation.
Absolutely, yeah.
God,
Every
we
week,
have to finish the show.
Let's get jealous with Eilat.
All right, thanks for joining us. All right, now what usually takes anywhere between a few days and a few weeks could now just take more than a few minutes, all thanks to an Israeli startup. What is it? Well, it's a blood test called Ohlow. 10 minutes. That's about how long it takes to make a cup of coffee, to unload the dishwasher, and to vacuum your living room. But now that's also how long it will take for you to undergo a blood test and get the results, all thanks to an Israeli startup called Cyte Diagnostics. Just 2 drops of blood is enough to get results from their device called Ohlow. And now the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, is giving it the go-ahead. Cyte Diagnostics started working on algorithms to detect malaria 5 years ago, and then used a similar solution to make blood tests that show a person's overall health and also detect leukemia. And apart from saving lives, the device could help bring down the cost for blood tests at labs, which currently require humans to man the devices. Ohlow digitizes blood samples removed from the finger or from a vein, and then creates images that are interpreted by a computer algorithm. The process takes less than 10 minutes. The recent clearance gives the company the opportunity to work with Quest Diagnostics and Laboratory Corps of America Holdings, which are 2 of the biggest lab processing companies in the United States. And soon enough, you may be seeing Ohlow devices on every doctor's desk.
In other news, to compete in the current economy, it helps to get all the experience that you can. While Onward Israel has been working hard to provide quality internship opportunities in Israel to North Americans since 2012.
And here now with the details, we have CEO of Onward Israel, Ilan Wagner, and Jared Fleitman, an Oleh Hadash, or new immigrant himself, who actually interned in Israel before immigrating to Israel. So we're going to hear about your story in a little bit, but first, tell us about some of the internship opportunities that Onward provides. What can you get here that you can't necessarily get abroad?
I think you can get here an amazing internship experience, which is different in 2 ways from what people get abroad. First of all, it's the type of work people do in internships. No matter what kind of placement, the fact that Israeli companies are less hierarchical, are more direct, are more involving, gives people the opportunity to do real work in a very short period of time, as opposed to the making coffee or making copies kind of approach of internships abroad. And the second thing is you can really get internships in the full spectrum of industries in Israel, from startups and finance and banking and business development to nonprofits to research at universities to the medical field. Wow. Really, there is the ability to almost tailor-make an internship based on what people are looking for. And that, of course, depends on the willingness of Israeli employers to invest in the program and to take in interns. But so far, we have about 1,400 companies that work with us really across the full spectrum of
Amazing.
So Jared, what was your internship experience? And let's start with that.
So I fell into this bucket. I moved to Israel just to intern here for the summer in 2013. I worked for a venture capital fund in Jerusalem. I had a good experience, so I actually came back the following summer.
You were doing stuff, you were involved in the team, you were making...
Oh, yeah, I was making deals from day one.
Wow.
Yeah, and actually came back the following summer to do it again. I had a good experience.
Wow.
And after the second summer, I got a full-time offer, so I actually moved to Israel. I made Aliyah. And,
Okay, so it wasn't oh, I love Israel after doing my internship and I moved. You actually got a job offer from your internship.
That's right.
experience.
That's right. It was also love at first sight, but I got an offer, and that made it much easier to kind of plan for the future.
So, I mean, you're from the United States, right? What would you say to, others who are considering potentially pursuing an internship opportunity here but are a bit fearful? What is the difference? What do you gain from coming here?
Great question. So I think, one of the big concerns I had before I accepted or pursued any positions here was kind of the, comparing the quality of the experience, right? So I had also worked in venture capital in San Francisco. So the big question is it going to be the same, right? Or am I going to get the same opportunities? Are the investments the same, et cetera? All my concerns kind of disappeared after that first internship. And by the time that I had actual offers on the table and was comparing them, it was kind of a no-brainer, right? Similar investment opportunity, but I got to live in Tel Aviv, right? I was young, I was 22.
Be near the beach doesn't hurt.
It doesn't. I live by the beach, get to party, have fun, and very good professional experience as well.
Well, and I think it's interesting what both of you kind of spoke to, which is that lack of a hierarchical, bureaucratic kind of system within businesses here. There's just a lot. I mean, people are always pushing and moving forward, and age isn't necessarily something that matters as much.
Yeah, and look, we've seen from our research, we ask the employers how they feel about it, and what we're seeing is not only are the interns getting amazing value like Jared spoke about, the Israeli companies are getting value. They're getting skill set, they're getting a passion, they're getting English language skills and ability, which is going to, we're a global economy, and the more Israeli companies can integrate in the global economy, the better off they're going to be. And this young intern from abroad gives them a leg up on that integration. And so we're seeing the interest of companies really growing.
Well, I can personally say that I know so many people who have been on Onward. I considered it at one point myself, didn't end up doing that, but next time I need an internship, I'll ask you guys.
You're still young.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for having us.
Now, women have taken the superhero movie scene by storm this year, and two of these superheroines just happen to be Jewish and/or Israeli.
Well, the trailers are out, and the movie lovers can now begin their countdowns for the releases of both the Black Widow Origins movie and, of course, the Wonder Woman sequel, 1984. And ILTV's Emmanuel Kadosh has the scoop.
Highly acclaimed actress Scarlett Johansson, who was actually named the highest paid actress of 2018, is now starring in Black Widow the movie as Black Widow, aka Natasha Romanoff.
I used to have nothing. And then I got this job. This family. But nothing lasts forever.
Originally, the character of Black Widow first appears in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Iron Man 2 film and has since appeared in 4 Avengers films. And her character was apparently trained by the KGB as a young girl who became an expert assassin known as the Black Widow. The movie is set to be released in May. Then, speaking of women-led superhero movies, our very own Gal Gadot posted a short teaser of her upcoming film, Wonder Woman 1984. And she has fans waiting in high anticipation for the DC Comics film, due to be released in June 2020. Also, the full trailer is set to be released later today, but the teaser itself got over 3 million views in just the first 2 hours of posting.
The world needs you.
So we're sure people are excited. Gadot's first Wonder Woman film was actually the highest grossing movie of the 2017 summer, with $412 million in the US alone. 2019 has been a great year for the Israeli actress in general, though, as she's set to star alongside Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Ryan Reynolds in The Red Notice, which is supposedly the biggest feature film Netflix has yet to create. Gadot also founded a production company earlier this year alongside her producer husband, Yaron Varsano, called Pilot Wave. So again, there's so much to look forward to, film and TV-wise, for the upcoming new year. And these trailers are just the start.
might want to go to the movie theater now.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the weather forecast. Tonight should be cloudy and also cool with scattered rains and lows of around 54 or 12 degrees Celsius. And then tomorrow you can expect more rain clouds countrywide and a drop in temperatures to a high of 63 or 17 degrees Celsius.
And that is it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.47 shekels to the American dollar. For more news from ILTV, please like ILTV on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. I'm Aaron Porras.
And I'm Natasha Kirchak. Thanks so much for watching.